Hi guys, it's Sakuems. So this video is to talk about the papers that I'm using. A lot of you guys have requested me to do this. So what I just did yesterday actually, I color some of the papers that I've used and I put the name on it so I can just show you how each tool is working with each paper, you know. So I will just show to you like the most used paper for me, and I guess like the best one. I have a lot of different papers, but they don't really work nice. But I have to try them on, you know, just to find the best one for me. And it also depends on how you work and what do you want to achieve and what texture you want, because papers are also very personal, you know, and there's a lot of different brands, there's a lot of different textures, there's a lot of different uses. So remember that my opinion is not like is not working for everyone. You have to try the paper, and if you don't like it, it's just that you don't like it and you just have to find a new one that you like. But for me, these are the best papers, you know, and also the worst one. I try to do both sides. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this. If you have any questions, if you don't know where to buy something, just go in the description box. I put a link through every papers that I will show to you. Only one is not sale. I think it's only sale in France, I guess, but it's not a really good paper, so it's okay. Yeah, I think that's it. I will talk to you next Friday because I'm going to upload a video every Friday now. So stay tuned, and next week I will put a tutorial on how to draw and how to shade in black and white. So, yep, hope you enjoy this. Bye! So for the papers, I basically did little swatches of colors on every kind of paper that I have. I've used watercolors, I've used ink, I've used pencils, you know, gray pencils. I've used watercolor pencils, ballpoint pens. I've used Copic markers, combo markers, colored pencils again, but not watercolor, and a black liner. So you can see the differences between all the papers. So the Arch paper, which is this one, is made by Canson, and I really recommend this paper for watercolor, of course, because this is a watercolor paper. It can be used also for combo because these are water-based markers. It's also nice for pencils, you know, like gray pencils or even watercolor pencils. You can work with ink, and you can also put on black lines. It's a really versatile paper. I don't recommend this for the ballpoint pens because the paper is too soft, it might break a bit. So it's mostly for like dry, soft, wet technique, but not too harsh technique. Like the ballpoint pens are kind of hard. So yeah, it's a really nice paper. I've used it in some of my work also. The downside of this is that it's kind of expensive, I think, and also I don't really like that the base color is kind of yellowish. It's not like pure white. So, you know, just if you like the yellowish undertone, you can just try this. Yeah, basically it's the Arch paper, and it's really nice to work. Well, I've used mostly this for the watercolor. Also, as watercolor paper, I've got the Canson Aquarelle, basically Canson Watercolor. One thing that I really like with this paper is that it's kind of the same. I've got here two papers, but it's the same sheet of paper. Just I bought this because these are like double-sided, and the texture is not the same on one side, and the other is like really smooth. So it's really cool. I really recommend you this paper if you like it's have the same quality of the Arch paper, but it's cheaper and it's like really white. So yeah, best of both worlds. The downside, there's only one actually, is that the size. I didn't find this in big papers, you know, big sheets. I only find this in A4. So I will just recommend you to use this like for watercolor. You can definitely use both sides, but I really prefer to use the textured side. And then for the, you can use ink, you can use ballpoint paste, you can use graphic pencils, you can use tumbles, so colored pencils, you can use black liners. But this technique's mostly on the smooth side, because on the texture side it's kind of hard to work with this. You can also use Copic markers, but I usually try to put on like watercolor basically, you know, just put some watercolors and pencils, and then maybe I will just add a bit of Copic markers on some areas, because this will just kill your Copic markers, you know, if you just work only with this. And it's not highly recommended to try this to do only with Copic markers. And this paper is 250 grams, so it's a nice thickness. So yeah, you can just try this on also. It's a nice paper. I think I really prefer this one than the Arch one, but I need to find bigger papers, you know, bigger sheets of papers. Then I will just go with the Gina K Pure Luxury Cardstock. So this is sold by Gina K Designs, and this is the paper that I've used most of the time, well, not like every time, for my Copic illustrations. Here you have the little swatches of Copic. So I really like how it is. I really like that I can lay color like 10 times if I want, and this won't bleed. It gives a little bit of texture, which I like, but maybe you won't, but I like the texture. I can also put like lines on it. Some papers don't really work with black liners. The ink here, which is by Memento, no, this is the distressed ink by Ranger, is working really nice. Also, it's a really clean, smooth texture. So yeah, basically Gina K, I used it for Copic and ink. Yeah, only because the other technique, watercolors, won't really work. The tumble, that doesn't blend at all. The pencils is not working because this paper is a cardstock, so it's just like slightly glossy and really smooth, so there's not enough texture, and it's not quite blendable with dry technique. This is working specifically for Copic markers, so and inks basically. So yeah, you can try this on. The downside of this paper is that it comes only in I think it's A4 paper, slightly smaller. So it's it's really bad, because I wish I could just have like A3 paper to work with Copic, but you know. So yeah, just try this on if you can. It's only sold on the Gina K Designs shop, you know, online. Then I've got the Deleter manga paper. I bought this last year, and I thought this would be a really nice manga, you know, Copic paper, and actually it's really bad. I don't like it. I'm serious. This paper is not working for anything. I've tried watercolors, I've tried Tombow, not blending. I've tried ink, it's just like weird texture. I've tried pencils, it's not blending at all. I've tried Copic, of course, it's like bleeding, and I've like weird blending spots, like I've used the blender and I didn't. Color pencils is not blending. It's only working with black line. The only good thing on this paper is the black line that I did here. So I guess you just have to use, if you want to add this paper, I think it's really recommended for like really mangaka, you know, if you just draw black lines and try to work with only black. Yeah. I've got also the layout, the basic layout paper by Copic. Actually, this is my Copic drawing pad. I don't like working with Copics. It's a Copic drawing pad, but I don't like the feel. I don't like how it blends. I don't like how the colors. I don't like the texture. I don't really like. Also, the paper is too smooth, too light weight. It's breakable. It's really fragile, so I don't like it. I think layout is nice if you want to just basically sketch and try to find something. It's a rough paper, you know, just to practice and to try to find nice ideas. And if you want a quick result with markers, and you don't want to work with more expensive paper. So yeah, basically I just have my Copic drawing pad, and I will probably never buy one again because I don't really like how it feels. Then I've got what? I've got something. I think it's just basic cardstock, but it's really smooth and matte texture. It's not glossy, you know. This is called lavis in French. I don't know how this is called in English. One thing that I really like with this is the graphic pencils. The pencils here and the colored pencils work really nice on this paper. The downside of this is also this yellow undertone. I like to work with pure white paper, so this is kind of, yeah, this is really sad because I never found a really white version of this paper. Yeah, so it's really sad, but it's nice if you like the yellow, you know, and you don't want too textured paper, but slightly texture. This is kind of between texture and smooth, so it's really nice. Also the black working really nice here. The ink is working nice. Even the watercolor is working nice, so this paper is really versatile. Yeah, it's really nice. I've got here the Canson, well, it's not the Canson, this one is a drawing paper, 200 grams by Fabriano, which is this here, Fabriano, I don't know if you can really see it, Fabriano, 200 grams. This is just basic drawing paper, and I really like that it's really heavy paper. It's nice for watercolors, but surprisingly, it's not working with Tombow. It's not blending at all, but the watercolors are working nice. It's also nice with ballpoint paints because you can see that the ballpoint, like the really concentrated part here, is really smooth. So it's really nice. I can't really see the little strokes here. It's nice also for pencils. It's nice for colored pencils. It's nice for ink. It's really a very versatile paper. It's not too textured also. It's not working for Tombow markers, but it's basically working for all the other techniques. So it's really cool. In this little also drawing paper, basic drawing paper, I'll also own the Canson 1557, which is slightly lighter. It's 180 grams. You know, they basically work the same. It's working the same as the Fabriano. The only difference is that the Tombow is blending on this paper, so it's a really versatile paper. You can work many techniques. I really like to work with pencils on this one. Yeah, I don't have much to say. You can just have this. It's maybe can be too light for watercolors. You have to stretch the paper, but you know, besides that, it's really nice paper. Then I've got the Paper Touch by Fontenay. Let me just show you. Paper Touch, which is like light granite paper, and it's working for most technique. Well, that's what it says, but I don't really like to. I never try to work with watercolors. I think it will be maybe too soft. The Tombow is not really blendable here. It's working nice with pencils also. It's working nice with color pencils. You know, it's kind of the same like the previous one, the Canson 57. Yeah, it's just, I think it's kind of more smooth, and it's also maybe whiter, you know, but it's also lighter. It's lightweight. So I would probably just focus on pencils, you know, with this one. And yeah, I think that's it for papers. You know, I've got also some sketch papers, you know, just lame sketch papers. And it's nothing special with this because I mostly use them to sketch, you know. So here it is for the video with papers. If you have questions, if you want me to explain a bit more on specific papers, you know, basically, it depends on the technique that you want, but to be quite honest, I really think the Canson, you know, the one that I showed to you before, the Canson Watercolor, 250 grams, is really like one of the best because it's working with all the techniques, all the tools. It's because you have double-sided paper, so you can just switch between. And I will just recommend you to buy the Gina K for convex. You know, you just need 2 papers. You don't need like all of this. If I have to choose, I will just focus on these ones. The downside also, the only downside of this is that I can't find them in bigger size paper. So it's sad, but yes, thanks for watching. I think I'm done. If you have any questions, if you want me to focus a bit more on one paper and how to work with it, just tell me. Thank you guys. Bye.